What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Yard Red Festival, the tournament where all the proceeds of the tickets do go to the Red Cross. So if you want to help a good cause and watch Dota at the same time, that's important because you could just donate to the Red Cross, or you could do both, then buy a ticket for the Yard Red Festival. This is going to be Game 3, the deciding game between mYi and Denial to determine who's going to be facing up against Power Rangers in the semifinals of this tournament. Or no, not the semifinals, or something like the semifinals, the third round, I don't know, one of those things. But the winner of this is going to be facing Power Rangers, which is going to be pretty tough. But clearly, both these two teams are fairly evenly matched, as the score does stand 1-1. I'm going to be bringing you the action. I'm Mike Loris here on HeflaTV 1, your only caster, the lonely life. But I will hold down the fort nonetheless, and we're going to see how this draft pans out. It looks like we are going to be seeing a Legion Commander banned out, which is rather curious. Game number 1, I know a lot of you didn't actually see that game because we had so many streaming problems with the SFX. It would drop my OBS stream like every 5 minutes, and then no one really wants to watch 3 minutes of gameplay at a time, so that was pretty bad. But Legion Commander was a pick for mYi, and it was run in the mid lane. And it's not really a place where I see Legion Commander that much, although I would say on paper that's where she should be most of the time. She usually goes to the off lane. It was pretty good. I mean, mYi got 100 plus damage on that hero. They were trucking heroes left to right and center, and it worked for them. But now they're going to ban it out. So, I mean, like, I would expect Denial to ban it out because they lost to it, not the other way around, because, I don't know, maybe they're just scared of the hero. Either way, Legion is going to be kicked out of the game, and mYi, they're going to first pick the Skywrath Mage. I mean, he was first picked all 3 games because he's Skywrath Mage, and that's kind of what Skywrath Mage does. If you're not first picking the hero, then you're probably doing it wrong, unless you want to go for something like a Brewmaster, which is also another way to go for Denial. That is going to be the pick for them. Honestly, the Brewmaster of Denial was, although it was technically a loss in game number 1, it was a lot more effective for Denial than it was for mYi. The Brewmaster play was kind of underwhelming, honestly. Like, the claps or the blinks were kind of forced out, and the splits were always used purely defensively from the Brew. But when you do that, you generally can't get much done because you want to be using the split every single time to win a fight. And if that doesn't happen, then obviously you're not going to be winning the fight. It is such a huge team fight ultimate, and fighting without it is pretty much suicidal. This is going to be the day of the IO, it looks like. Third game in a row, I believe, where IO is going to be picked up. This is the second time that Denial picked it up. They ran it in game number 1 along with a Bristleback, which was okay. It didn't really get much done, so, I mean, obviously they lost. Spoiler alert, guys, they lost. IO Bristleback was not the real combination that Denial wanted, so it is going to be maybe a little bit jarring for them, but we'll see what the combo is going to be for the IO. I expect there to be a Bristleback again, although they could just go for any other hero, not Phantom Assassin, as that is going to be banned. I honestly really do like the IO Phantom Assassin pick. Phantom Assassin does like to just constantly farm, and she will be able to contribute quite a bit once you're going to be jumping in with the relocate, so it is going to be a worthwhile ban for mYi. I expect to see Tiny banned out as well, although maybe they're going to remember game 1 and respect the Bristle. Right now, Denial, they just want to protect their IO. It's going to be Batrider in order to protect the initiation power of Denial. Really, when you have Brewmaster, you want to be starting the fights pretty much 100% of the time. Of course, when you're mYi and you have Centaur, you're going to want to start the fights 100% of the time. So it's going to be a fight for initiation there. And then at that point, it's the secondary initiators that really bring the heat on. And Batrider, I guess it would be a primary initiator, but then, you know, yeah, it would have Batrider Centaur. More initiation on the side of mYinsanity than there would be on Denial. So there, I would expect going to be fighting over initiation right now. If not mYinsanity, they're going to just completely focus on the IO partners, which is also a way to go. Pretty much no matter what, I think the IO is going to be getting a decent partner, and it is going to be a Bristleback Respect from the mYinsanity side, and then a Terrorblade being eliminated. So, you know, I mean, no matter what, the IO is going to find a partner. There are always going to be partners in the pool unless you literally spend all of your bans on eliminating those possibilities, but that's just foolish, and it's probably not worth your time. The IO is going to be partnered up, I want to say, with a Tiny, although partnering up with a Sven can also be worthwhile. I haven't seen the core Sven in such a long time. It's always support. Whenever it's picked up, I'm like, yeah, core Sven, and then it doesn't go for farm, and then it's really bad. So I don't know. Denial, they might want to go for it right now. Really up against Centaur Scarith Mage, the best option I think for them would just be to wait. You don't have to pick up your IO right now. You could pick up heroes to play a little bit more aggressively, maybe like another Sand King if they want to play super passively, or they could pick up a more aggressive hero, someone like a Shaker maybe, or a Bane. Ooh, that's interesting. So now where's the golden hero that partners up with Bane and uses his initiation with the Nightmare, but also is a good IO partner? You know, if I thought it was realistic, I would say CK. I would also say Juggernaut is pretty good. Like back when IO was just starting to gain in popularity, and by the way, that was when he was still called Wisp in Dota 2. Juggernaut Wisp was seen quite often. Ursa was seen occasionally. All of these are options for Denial. I don't know if they're the best options, but we could always hope, right? We could always hope. Bane, usually just picked up as pure setup or as a response to someone who either has magic immunity inherently, i.e. Lifestealer, or goes for a very fast BKB. And because neither of those are on the table right now for mYinsanity, this Bane is kind of out in an awkward position right now. Like, he's still a good support hero. He just excels a lot when the enemy has grip-worthy targets and you are in need of setup. And even then, I would say Disruptor is... not Disruptor, Shadow Demon is usually the preferable pick there. So this Bane, we'll see if it actually works out the way Denial expected to. mYinsanity, they are going to take the Sand King, which is something that Denial have been used. They used to great effect in that last game. And once again, Scarith Mage, Sand King, it's pretty much as aggressive as a support duo as you could possibly get. You do have the option of playing things very slow and secure, but it's more likely that you're going to look for boots level 1 on your Sand King, and then off Concussive Shot, look for very early game ganks. Denial, they are going to go for just straight Mirana. Maybe this is going to be a Mirana Bane dual lane and then an IO +1 dual lane. I mean, Bane Mirana is fine. I just didn't realize they were going to go for Mirana after picking up an IO, just because that's kind of a weak combination. With an IO, when you relocate in, you want to have an immediate impact through right-click damage and spells. And Mirana has a little bit of spell damage, but Arrow is hard to land when you just get thrown into the middle of the fray. And her right-click damage is pitiful, so I want to say that this Mirana is going to be playing separate from the IO, although I don't know if it's actually going to be the case. mYinsanity right now, they have some pretty great tools versus Denial. Like, they have stuns freaking everywhere. They have silences on the Scarith Mage and a hell of a lot of burst. So right now, even though mYinsanity, they only have 3 heroes, I think I favor their lineup. Like, Denial, they are fairly soft. Brewmaster is on the tanky side occasionally, but when he's chain stunned by the Centaur and Sand King, Epicenters, Stampedes, oh my, then things get really dangerous for the Brewmaster, and if he can't get a split off, then Denial are just going to pretty much auto-lose a fight, and that's never what you want to have happen. They are placing a lot of eggs into the Brewmaster basket. They're also placing a lot of eggs into the lane control basket. As Mirana Bane setup, as powerful as it is, I don't really know if it's going to be enough for them to win the lane in such a way that they are also going to win the mid-game following. Like, their lanes are going to be strong. With 3 ranged heroes versus the, I guess, only, let's say, 1 ranged hero for the Scarith Mage. Yes, Puck technically is, but he's going to be soloing the lane, so that's not really relevant. Denial are going to have more lane control than mYinsanity, but I don't know if their aggression is as high as mYinsanity's. Like, Bane Mirana is great and everything, but Sand King Scarith Mage is just overwhelmingly huge. We're going to see a Spectre ban out now from Denial. Maybe this is going to be a game where mYinsanity decide to go for a Dusa. It is a little bit more common nowadays, and it won't be a terrible pick here. Although, Yeah, I mean, it won't be bad. They have Puck already to start fights along with Centaur and Sand King, so initiation is not a problem at all for my Insanity. They just have to make sure that they take a hero who's not going to randomly die. And really, as far as carry heroes are concerned, unless you're going to be going melee strength, that's not really something that you could bet on. And right now, my Insanity, with already 2 melee strength heroes, they're probably not going to want to go for a third. So what is it going to be for Denial, first of all? This is going to, of course, influence the picks for my Insanity, and they only have a little bit more time. Venomancer. So it's a fine hero, and Anti-Mage. There we go for my Insanity. A hero you don't want to lose. That's the pick. It's definitely got to be the AM. So Venomancer as a hero, 9 times out of 10 is played as core. I think that's going to be the case this game as well. And as far as applying early game pressure, that's really good. Like, Venomancer is going to be able to push things. His damage is going to be extremely high to everyone except the Anti-Mage. And it's overall a very nice aggressive hero to have. The problem then is that the support duo is going to be Bane Io. And although Bane Mirana is a decent enough dual lane just by themselves, having the Io there is just kind of weird. I feel like the Io is just the odd man out. Like, they're perfectly functional without the IO. If they had a Rubik or a Vengeful Spirit or a Crystal Maiden or anything, I feel like Denial will be getting a lot more out of their lane, but instead they have this Wisp who is going to be able to relocate in Denial, and maybe they're going to be playing a little bit more of the split push game, but I don't know. With the Venomancer pickup, Denial are saying we're probably going to look to end the game very early on. Before you comfortably get going with your Blink Daggers, before your Anti-Mage really gets going with his Battle Fury, we're going to be knocking on your front door. And I don't know if that's going to happen for Denial. So I think, even after seeing all the rest of the picks, I favor still my Insanity, and we're going to see who's going to be playing what for them. We got Zmai playing the Anti-Mage up towards top. Lizard is going to be on the Sand King with Grazine on the Centaur War Runner. Milan is going to be playing the Puck, and that leaves Hatawa on the Scarith Mage. Am I disconnected? Oh dear. I hope this is there. Okay. Whoa. Hello. We good? I think we're good. Alright, so that's all of my Insanity. On the Denial side, we got Paris, who's going to be playing the Mirana, currently looking to go aggressively in a tri-lane. Fucking Mad is going to be joining him as the Bane. Maybe it's just going to be dual lanes. Jaral is going to be on the Brewmaster. That leaves towards the bottom lane. Creo on the Io, along with the Venomancer being played by Funzy. So, yeah, do we have any ping issues? Let's see what we got here. That's pretty high. We broke the servers, guys. We did it. We did it. Alright, so if it is a dual lane situation, Io Venomancer is not exactly the strongest combination. Venomancer can usually hold the fort by himself. Like, you send him towards the mid lane occasionally, just because he has that much power. Getting the Io to control the lane a little bit more, make pulls happen, I guess is going to be nice for Funzy, but, you know, usually you want to be pushing the tower as Venomancer. You know, like, when you have a mid Venomancer, usually the ward is set up right here and the Venomancer is camped out, and he's just constantly applying the pressure to the tower. And those pulls don't exactly help with that. In fact, they hurt with that, so I don't know what Denial are really doing with this. I mean, yeah, Bane and Mirana are powerful. I'm not going to deny that. It is one of the most potent kill combinations as far as dual lanes are concerned in the entire game. My Insanity, they do have a range hero to pull off Nightmare, so it's going to be a little bit inconvenient for Denial, but overall it should be pretty secure. I just don't know about this dual lane situation. The IO is kind of forcing this, but it's making it really messy. Smile's going to run to a bounty rune. Unfortunately, it's not going to be anything that Denial can contest. And now fucking Mad is getting way too close. Lizard has brown boots level 1. Fucking Mad, where are you going? Oh, fortunately for him, Lizard is not going to go for it. Now they're setting up for an arrow. It will be taken off by Hatawa, but now the arrow is going to fly onto him instead. No follow-up here. That's completely fine. We're just going to walk away. And, yeah, walk away. Lizard's actually going to get concussive shot, burrow strike onto fucking Mad. Anti-Mage uses a blink forward. Blink, block. They have the block. They don't have the block. He's going to get out, and now they're going to keep chasing forward. They don't have anything else, though. You can block in this situation if you have a hero here and a hero here. And usually that's just a tight wall, but fucking Mad gets away alive. A little bit of a squabble for the first rune, and mYi are going to secure that one, and they force out a couple restoratives. Paris also going to run into Hatawa. There's a lot of damage that's being put onto the Scarlet Mage because he has 0 base armor, but he's going to be fine to walk out of here. And now we have a situation where fucking Mad and Paris, I think, are going to struggle in this lane. Like, they will be able to occasionally put pressure on, but with Sand King, who should be playing this lane fairly defensively, he's going to be sticking around the lane. He's going to be able to contribute quite a bit as a setup for another Burst Strike. Fucking Mad taking quite a bit of damage already. Now the Burst Strike is going to happen. Fucking Mad taking a lot of damage in those stuns, and he's going to go down. Hatawa's going to draw first blood, and it's going to be on the Bane. Now Paris is going to get a little bit of mana drained as well as taking a lot of damage. Bane's going to come right back in, but he can't really get much done. This dual lane for Denial is going to get thrashed by the tri-lane of mYi. And then at that point, we have to look at the other lanes to see if they're going to get anything salvaged out of this. 6 for 0 on the Puck versus Drell's 5 for 2. So, as expected, this lane is going to be more or less even. I think at a certain point, the Brewmaster does get a little bit better in this lane, but then once level 6 happens, Milan gets a lot better, and then the Brewmaster gets a lot better again once he gets level 6. So, it's going to be a seesaw lane. Other than that, it should be relatively even. Down towards bottom, Grazine, just versus Venomancer alone, is not going to have the best matchup there. Dealing with the IO is not very threatening. So, there's a dual lane versus a solo lane. Most of the time, that's when your dual lane is going to succeed, as it's usually tri-lane beats solo lane, tri-lane beats dual lane. But dual lane loses to tri-lane, and dual lane should win against a solo lane. But Centaurs are going to be just fine here. Like, Funzy with the Gale is certainly a dangerous threat on paper. And if the IO had level 6, then Grazine would be playing this so close to the chest, but he obviously doesn't. It's 2 minutes into the game. Centaur's not really threatened by anything. Like, what is he going to die to? Right clicks from Funzy after a Gale? IO coming in with a tether? That's not going to be doing anything. So, Grazine is going to be very secure in this lane, although he's not playing as such. Like, I expect him to be pretty much right in this area, or messing with the pulls, and yeah, there we go, messing with the pulls. Right as scheduled, right on plan. Grazine is going to be getting quite a bit of experience in this lane. In the meantime, top lane, oh man, Paris is not having a fun time up here, as to be expected. Fucking Mad, leaving, going towards the mid lane for a little bit of an excursion. Unfortunately, didn't get anything done, and now he's going to rejoin his Mirana buddy, but again, they can't really get anything done in this dual lane. It's a weird laning situation for Denial, and it's not even mYi picking up a hero that instantly put a stop to all of this. It's not like they had a good game plan from the get-go, and then this Anti-Mage threw a wrench into all that. They never really had a great game plan. They're going to land an arrow into Anti-Mage. The Brains Out pure damage is going to be enough. Yes! It will just be enough. The blink animation a little bit too slow, and Mirana does get the kill. About time for them. Unfortunately, mYi, they are going to leave their Anti-Mage at a time where the Scarlet Mage and Sand King are both away from the lane. Poor timing for mYi, and perfect timing for Denial is going to get them a kill on one of the most important targets in one of their weakest lanes, so they really could not be happier about that. And over towards mid, Joral has pulled ahead in just a little bit versus this Puck. He also has a Bane to support. He doesn't have the mana just yet. He's going to want to just use Nightmare. He won't have both. A Nightmare onto Milan into a Clap, I think, should be able to kill him off, although it's going to be really close. It looks like it's not even going to happen. The Bane is mostly just concerning himself with blocking these pulls. There is a double stack for Lizard, and he's looking to get that up eventually once he hits level 3, level 2 Sandstorm. But he's not going to have that just yet. He does have brown boots, and his aggression hasn't really been that great. As for mYi, they don't really want to get kills on the top lane. They don't want to actively search for kills, I want to say. If they find kills, that's great, but odds are they're not going to find, as Drow just come in with a haste rune. It should be Zmai getting out safely. Scarlet Mage, luckily, is going to escape as well. Rotation from the Brewmaster with the haste rune usually results in something. This time, not going to be one of those times. And now Lizard's going to come right back in. Denial might be suckered into thinking that they're a little bit more secure in this lane than they actually are. A concussive shot into a Burrow Strike onto Bane might kill him off, and they do not know that Lizard's in the area. There's a concussive shot, there's a blink forward, maybe a little bit body blocking, and Brain Sap has already been used. Burrow Strike is guaranteed to land. Arrow's going to land into Zmai, but the Sandstorm damage down to fucking Mad. Barely knocking me enough. One right click, 10 HP. Lizard's going to get this kill. Poke, there he goes, but now he's stuck in a corner, and he's going to go down and trade. That's probably not going to be worth it for the mYi side. They took a lot of damage from that. In the meantime, towards mid, Milan's getting beat upon by Joral. It's ultimately going to be a slight lead for mYi. They get a slightly more golden experience having more heroes there, but it's going to be relatively even. And really, with the Anti-Mage on your team, you're fine with taking these even trades, because Anti-Mage, all he wants to do is farm, farm, farm. And that's exactly what he's getting, because Denial, though they did get one kill on the Anti-Mage, aren't really applying enough pressure on this Anti-Mage to say, okay, we're doing our job, we're keeping this Anti-Mage down. He's 20 CS. He's behind the Venomancer for sure, but he's ahead of the Mirana, and overall he's just doing perfectly fine in this situation. The pushing from Denial and the team fight from Denial hasn't yet come about. Eventually, the Brewmaster is going to get his level 6 in a Blink Dagger, in which case he's going to look to make his rotations. Eventually, Funzy's rewards are going to be maxed out. He might go for a Ring of Aquila to add a little bit more pushing power in this lane, or turn his Ring of Basilius on at the very least. And then this tower is going to take some pretty serious pressure. Grazine can't really do anything about this, but he's getting a lot of experience. At a level 6 Stampede is going to make this dual lane for Denial just so much more vulnerable. When you're dealing with already mYi Sanity who have a lot more kill potential in the lane, adding a Stampede on top of that is just a nightmare. Also, it's going to pretty much secure escapes from Brewmaster's ultimate, which is one of the more underrated elements of Stampede. Once the Brewmaster blink clap splits, if you jam that Stampede button, then the Brewmaster, odds are, is going to struggle to really get the amount of damage done that he's really comfortable in doing. Like, he will be able to probably chase down with the Storm aspect and land a Tornado and then do a little bit of damage, but definitely not enough to say that the ultimate was warranted. Top lane, Paris is once again in a little bit of trouble. Are they going to go for him, or are they just going to settle for Bane? They're going to silence Paris and then go for Bane. Fucking Mad has level 2 Brain Sap. They're holding on to the stun, and it will be used. However, Lizard's going to hit with an arrow. The right-click damage is going to be more than enough, though, as mYi's going to take the kill on the Bane. Not going to go for Mirana. I think I can respect that. I mean, she does have a leap. It's an unnecessary risk that they would have been taking. They definitely could have killed the Mirana if they were 100% focused on her, but they obviously didn't know that. It's another kill, and now a Stampede, as it's going to be Milan in trouble. This Brewmaster is putting the screws to the puck. They're still even in the CS department, and unless the Brewmaster uses his ultimate, I don't expect him to get a kill on the puck, especially with Stampede. But Stampede now used rather defensively, and Grazine actually not getting as much CS as I really would expect. Funzy and Creo, they're not yet at that level 6 mark where the Wisp is going to be looking to relocate out, but Funzy's getting his levels up, and a farmed Venomancer for a certain stage in the game is going to be very dangerous. Like, jumping in with the Nova, and then your Gale, and then your right-click damage, it's a lot of dots that's really hard to deal with. But the window of that being the most powerful skill is very short. Like, you could extend it once you get more levels, and once you get a Veil, maybe an Aghanim, stuff like that. But is it worth having an IO? Again, that's the part I'm really questioning. He's kind of stuck out here. Grazine might be in a little bit of trouble, however. He's going to run straight into Creo and fucking Mad. Nice coil from Milan. Is going to get brain sapped up, but Creo's going to get hoof stomped. Double edged well is going to kill him off along with the puck. Now a regen rune for Milan. Oh man, that was quite the rune pickup. He's going to get right back up to full. Meantime, up towards top. Split has already happened from Brewmaster, but I don't really know what for. Paris is going to land an arrow shot onto Hatawa. However, no, he's not going to throw it. He already did throw it, actually. Hatawa's going to turn around and just die. Yeah, I don't really know what that happened there, but Lizard's gonna get a burst shot on Paris. Now he's completely out of mana. Blink forward from his mind. Does he have a mana void? He does. Not gonna use it? No, okay, he does use it in the end, but it's a 1-for-1 trade, killing off the Scarith Mage, who quite frankly shouldn't have died. But losing your Mirana in the process is so not worth it for Denial, and it's once again going to be a trade that does benefit the mYi Sanity side. They're pulling slowly but surely ahead in this game just by these trades. Now maybe Funzy's farm is going to be enough to redeem that. Let's take a quick look and see if that's the case. It's kind of the case, but barely. Like, less than 1,000 lead is nothing substantial going either way. Oh man, I'm running out of water already. This is not good, guys. I didn't fill it up to the top. Crucial mistake, amateur mistake. But we're fine. We're fine because Funzy is going to be pushing this tower with level 4 Plague Wards. What can mYi Sanity do about this? With only the Centaur, they can't do anything. If they had a puck in the area, they would be able to jump on these two heroes and probably bring them down fairly quickly. But it looks like this is going to be the first tower to drop over towards the bottom lane, as they're going to set up potentially for mid. There is a level 4 silence on puck, so the silence is going to be very long and it's going to hurt quite a bit, but is it going to be enough to actually kill off the Brew? Without level 6 on Scarith Mage, I'm inclined to think no, but they're going to try for it anyway. In the meantime, bottom lane tower is going to be secured, and they are going to rotate 3 heroes down here. In fact, do they want to go for more? That is a possibility, I suppose, but it looks like it's going to be over towards mid where the aggression is going to come in. Draw's going to get double silence. He's not going to be able to escape. Here comes fucking Mouth, the brain sap out to Milan. One more right click is going to do him in. Phase shift already used. A 1-for-1 trade that I think is once again going to be okay with mYi Sanity to take. And, I mean, it's more or less a wash there, but Blink Daggers being slowed down on either side, the puck getting away with the experience before anything else. So, you know, more or less a wash, but Bane at least getting something, right? He needs a little bit more gold. Level 6 is now up on him, killing off the puck and the Anti-Mage. Now a little bit more on the table, but it's still going to be a little bit tough. He has only 1 point in the Mana Shield, and he's slowly working towards his Battle Fury. Not going to be the fastest Battle Fury by any means. Slowing down for the Power Treads and the Poor Man's Shield. Power Treads usually an item picked up after the Battle Fury, but hell, he kind of needed it against the kill lane of Denial. Having that extra strength is going to be crucial. and he's not being pressured at all right now, so the Battle Furies should come up relatively shortly. We do see Sand King with a rather aggressive build, deciding not to just turtle up and go for the Blink Dagger. Instead is going to charge forward for Funzy. There's a silence on him. They're going to look for the Stampede initiation instead of just straight burst striking, but I think Funzy's now trapped. Mystic Flare is going to drop him very low, and then Centaur steals the kill. It's a very easy kill on a core. That's going to be about it, as they might set up onto Zmai up on top. No grip in time, though. Just another easy kill for the mYi and Sandy side down bottom. It was even messy at that, so the Sand King going for this build of Tranquils into Urn of Shadows. Seen this occasionally. I don't think I like it over the Blink Dagger build. Obviously, he's going to be getting Blink Dagger next, or he should be getting Blink Dagger next. But with this build, you're saying, I want to be a lot more aggressive. I want to use Burst Strike to get kills, and I'm going to be doing that until I get my Blink Dagger. And let's see if it's going to work out. mYi is going to get very quickly gripped up, but it will be broken very quickly by the coil. Milana's going to be dropped very low very quickly, but the Mana Void is going to kill off both the Mirana and the Bane. mYi's going to take a little bit of poison damage, but that was just such a disaster for Denial. As strong as this dual lane is at killing off one target, I don't even know if they had enough to kill off the Anti-Mage. Like, maybe if the Grip ran its absolute full course, they would have done it, but definitely not with the Puck playing in such a way. I mean, mYi kind of blinked out of there. He was chilling up in this back end, and he voluntarily blinked into a whole bunch of enemies. You kind of are going to expect that something is behind the Anti-Mage, or he has backup in some way, and a Puck is just the best backup possible. Coil once again showing its usefulness, and now just off of that, he's so close to getting his Blink Dagger, just 50 gold. The other two supports from mYi and Sandy, they're not done with this top lane. They're going to rotate up once again. Burrow Strike into Mystic Flare is a guaranteed kill on whoever they could find. And I think that unlucky recipient might be the Mirana. Oh, arrow's going to be thrown. It's going to land squarely into mYi. Here comes the support. It's going to be Stampede out for mYi and Sandy. The Mystic Flare is going to completely whiff, as they do instead go straight for Paris. But Lizard's taking so much damage. Now the Puck combo is going to demolish the Mirana, and then he's going to jaunt out. He will dodge most of the Brewmaster split, but it still will be a 2-for-1, as Puck's dropping very low to the poison damage. He will be dropped to a Brain Sap, and now Scarth Mage up into the air. He's going to be dropped as well, I expect, as another rock is going to be waiting for him. There it is. Clap, not available, but he doesn't need it with a crit. That's a 4-for-1 trade, it looks like, up on the top lane, plus a tower going the way of Denial. After all these crappy trades, crappy trade after crappy trade, they finally get a good one, and it's able to burst down the Anti-Mage very swiftly. It's a really scattered fight for mYi and Sandy. The lack of Mystic Flare landing, no Epicenter was used there either. So ultimates from these supports from mYi and Sandy not being used at all. And the ultimates from Denial really not needed, or at least from the support. The split plus the arrow landing. Really, if you have all of those things line up properly, then most of the time you're going to take a good fight. And this was just another one of those times. That's a Blink Dagger on the Brewmaster as well as a Blink Dagger on the Puck. So we'll see who actually wears it better. But it really depends on who jumps on who. Right now, Denial, they're still not in the best of times. The Anti-Mage on the opposition is still farming very happily, and though they have a slight gold lead, it's not something that's extremely tangible unless they start taking more and more towers. That is all the tier 1 towers now being taken by the Denial side, which is a nice way to start out. And Grip, gonna catch Lizard. Do they have vision of this? It looks like they do. Golem's not gonna tank that one. Maybe the Golem's gonna take the kill. Oh man, that sucks. Nobody likes golems. Like, my golems suck. Katawa's also going to get jumped by the Brewmaster. Killed off in 2 hits because of a double damage rune. Easy set of kills for Denial, although it will just be 1 kill in the end, despite what the kill score may say. But man, mud golems suck. Like, not only are they magic immune, but they also steal your kills. What assholes. Over towards mid lane. It's going to be Denial. This is really where their lineup is at the strongest. 15 minutes in. They have a Blink Dagger and Brewmaster. Now's the time to just gear up and fight every single time. And, of course, we have some more lag. I'm going to drink more water, guys. Alright. So, yeah, they don't have a split just yet. 20 seconds until that's up, but you really don't need a split right now, as Sand King does not have a Blink Dagger. If he did, then you would probably not be going for this push. The person you have to worry about the most is Puck, and then maybe a Centaur with a Blink. Actually, he does have a Blink, so that's pretty scary. mYi and Sandy, they can, in theory, make a defense here. Fucking Mad, though, is going to hit with the Burrow Strike. Now the Stomp Forward and the Mystic Flare. Goodbye, fucking Mad. Creo's regen isn't nearly going to be enough. Now Jarrell's going to jump right in. Silence is going to miss, actually. He now does have a split, and he's going to use it straight away. Lizard's taking a lot of damage. He is still channeling a Sandstorm. He's going to try to Burrow Strike out, and he will make it out alive for a little bit, as the coil does drop into 3, or Funzy and then the Spirits. That's still going to be a 1-for-1 trade as Milan's going to jump forward. Stampede is not going to do the job yet, but the Earn Charge will. Now the Brewmaster's in a little bit of trouble. He will blink off to the left. However, Milan is right on his tail. I don't think the Brewmaster has enough to escape this. As long as Grazine and Milan play their Blink Dagger as well, they will be able to corner this Brew, who's going to try to TP out. Grazine, Blink Stomp. I mean... I guess he thought that Blink Stomp wouldn't land, and to be fair, I don't know if it would either. But it definitely had a higher chance of landing than a Stomp from that far away, so I don't know. I guess he just decided to go for it. There was no chance of that landing, so that was hilarious. But either way, it is going to be the Sand King going down in exchange for the Bane. Ordinarily, you would say, yes, that's an even trade, and as far as the golden experience, you're probably going to be correct. But as far as the flow of the game, these types of trades are going to be mYinsanity defending their Raxes and also pulling out the split of the Brewmaster. The fact that mYinsanity lost the tower is going to be, of course, not the greatest for them. It's actually denied by the Scarith Mage, which is pretty good. But really, they're okay with making these trades because their Anti-Mage now has the Battle Fury. If they could constantly take even trades or even slightly beneficial trades towards denial, then they're going to be fine regardless because of the fact that they have late game more or less on lockdown. It really gets messy if they get absolutely cleaned up. That's, I mean, obviously. But fights like that, up until that, are fights that they're willing to take. And if they're going to find Fucking Mad, that's just another pick off for them. Nicely done by the Puck and Centaur. Honestly, don't really know what Fucking Mad's mission was there. Had sentries but no observers, so maybe he was going to ward this area, but with no observers, that's clearly not going to happen. All these trades, all these pickoffs, are mYinsanity taking a little bit of a lead, mostly so that they could take a lead later on. The Anti-Mage just wants space right now, and he's getting it. But Denial, they're still playing in such a way to deny this to mYinsanity. They know that right now the Anti-Mage is more or less a dead hero. Like, he'll be able to do a little bit of damage for sure. But right now, Denial, they have the hero advantage. And they're going to make a tower push up on top that is not going to be defended by mYinsanity. This is going to be a free tower pickup for the Denial side. Will it be at the trade of any other towers? Looks like bottom lane is vulnerable. And if Bane gets blinked upon, then he will go down. Fortunately for him, he doesn't have to worry about any blinkers in the area. But will it actually matter? Because if he gets hit with the Burst Strike, he's just dead anyway. Still, the tower up on top lane is alive, and mYinsanity, they're mobilizing down bottom. There is an Aghanim Scepter now picked up on the Venomancer and a very late hand of Midas in the Mirana. She actually doesn't have anything at all. Like, that's just hand of Midas Phase Boot 17 minutes into the game. Rather uninspiring farm from her. But that's fine, I suppose. Gonna give them a little bit more late game, but Mirana late game pales in comparison to Anti-Mage late. It's not even close. Moonlight Shadow is out. This was spotted, of course, by everyone from mYinsanity, and Fucking Mad's still the only one in real trouble right now. As a tower up on top lane is going to be picked off. They're looking for a jump in, and oh, that might be the green light. Brewmaster is going to show his face. If he gets silenced once, then he's going to get silenced again. Milan not going to jump on one target. Not going to jump at all. mYinsanity pull out. Okay. I mean, they waste a hell of a lot of time. They don't mount a defense up on top. They lose a tower for sure, but I don't think there was any way to defend that. Now Funzy and Creo going to look to jump an Anti-Mage. That's not going to happen. Aghanim Scepter, as powerful as it is on the Venomancer, it's only level 1 ultimate, so, you know, rather underwhelming there. Not going to happen, and over towards bottom, actually, yeah, over towards bottom, they're going to be pushing this one out. They still have a split, and as long as Denial have the split, they're going to be looking to push out and take towers. Of course, the question is, can they actually win team fights off of this? Again, it depends on initiation. Lizard getting hit with an arrow is a good way to start, but here comes Rosine, double-edging Paris down to below half HP. Lizard's going to get a nice Burrow Strike in. Clap is going to bring him down with the Plague Ward help. Smize in the air, but a grip onto Grazine is not going to be canceled this time as Milan's a little bit late to the party. Will dodge the Venomancer ultimate, throw an orb through everybody. Now Zmai going to jump right in for a kill on the Io. Fucking Mad going to drop pretty low. Now the coil onto Funzy plus Fucking Mad, but Dral's still here. He's going to annihilate everyone else. Where's the Scarith Mage? He's dying to poison damage, and he will go down. That's a full team wipe in favor of Denial. Man, they didn't even use split right there. mYinsanity just getting hit with the Poison Nova, getting absolutely destroyed by it. That damage done was insane. You can take a look, 18, almost 1900 damage done just by the Venomancer alone. And then mYinsanity getting kind of picked apart. Like, they had a pick-off, and then another pick-off, and then, you know, everyone came in by the end of it. But by the end of it, everyone was already dead, so that's going to be Denial taking that fight, and because they didn't use the split, they are going to be perfectly okay with just going for more. I would like to see, you know, a little bit more pushing power on them. Maybe a Necro Book. Is this a Necro Book? Maybe Belt of Strength Necro Book. But they're going to go for it anyway, knowing that still they're stronger because they do have a split available. As long as Doral doesn't get silenced, they'll be fine. Poking and prodding, a little bit of the damage will be dealt to this tower, but I don't think it's going to be enough to bring it down. As mYi, they're now all up, and Grazine, Blink Stomp is going to miss. Now the Gale's turn around. He's going to take quite a bit of damage. Now the Blink Clap, but he's going to get silenced. Brewmaster's going to be brought down before using his ultimate, and this has got to be a full retreat for Denial. Here comes the Anti-Mage. Mystic Flare is going to drop onto both Funzy and Parrish, but they're both going to walk it off pretty easily. Still, the damage is there, as Milan does have a gem. Mana Void onto Mirana is going to do next to nothing, but it's going to be Funzy and fucking Mad to take the drop. Maybe not, because now they're invisible. Gems drops, and they don't have any True Sight now. The arrow is going to fly, not connected to anyone but mYi. They're running awkwardly in a corner. Funzy's going to wall himself off. He'll be just fine. Hatawa getting dropped to poison as well as Earn charge. He's going to drop as well. Is mYi going to try to rejoin this fight, and he try to go for Creo, but I think they can turn around and fight. Here comes Grazine, however, nice 3-man hoof stomp. That's going to be the rest of Denial dropping. Buyback from the Brewmaster as well. Fucking Mad is going to stand still, and I kept his fate, but Brewmaster has a split. He still is going to want to jump in. There's a Blink Clap split, critting onto the puck. Now going to try to go for Grazine. Smoke doesn't work like that anymore. Funzy's still in the back end. He's going to contribute what he can with poison damage. I don't think it's going to be enough to kill off Grazine, although it might be really close. It will be enough, actually, to kill him off. The Anti-Mage off to the left side is going to blink out, and he will be just fine. And I think Denial might have salvaged that fight. That was still a one fight, technically. Actually, more gold being spent by mYinsanity because of those buybacks, but experience did benefit Denial in the end. They used the split, but still, that Brewmaster has got to be so damn careful. Like, the Skywrath Mage silence does come out extremely quickly. Burrow Strike is extremely swift as well. With fighting with one ultimate, usually you should be okay with it because it is a split. It's so powerful. But you kind of want to have more ultimates if you're going to get silenced like that. If they had a Nova, if they had a grip, then they would have been so much better in that fight. But they're going to keep on going. They're not scared at all. Denial, you can't stop these guys. Don't stop them now because they're having a good time. They're having a ball. And this tower is going to take a lot of damage. Now, mYinsanity, they are capable of defending this. They don't have a Blink Dagger on Sand King just yet. Once they do, it'll be a really bad surprise for Denial. But a Blink Dagger on both Puck as well as Centaur should be decent enough at starting a fight, should they find the opportunity to. Getting arrowed is probably the worst way to start a fight for mYinsanity. They're going to be sure to dodge that. And this is Denial pushing in without split on Jarrell. That's awfully risky. But hey, as long as the enemies are not willing to defend, you could get away with literally anything. Paris going to go up and poke the tower a little bit. Just these Plague Wards thinning the creep wave or annihilating the creep wave. There it goes. And now here's the tower. The Anti-Mage is still split farming up on top. Vlad's is up on him as well as the Battle Fury. Items to help him fight early. He's still not at that critical mass yet, however. Now Milan's actually spotted out in the side. He's going to dodge most of the damage. Now Grazine's going to blink in for Jarrell. He does not have a split, and he will go down. Coil onto fucking Mad as well as the Epicenter is being channeled, which will go straight onto Paris. Will not kill him off, but it will bring him very low. Relocate's going to come in as mYi gets gripped up by fucking Mad. Funzy's going to try to kill off this Anti-Mage, but he should have a blink out, and he will. The poison damage is going to be very close. We'll keep our eye on that. In the meantime, Grazine, once again, going to try to jump in. He's not going to get land a stomp, and Lizard's going to drop as well. The Poison Nova wrecking everyone. Even in the base, the Skywrath Mage dies. mYi, with level 2 mana shield, spell shield rather, does make it out just barely, but Denial take the fight anyway. Split, not even used. That was a fight won purely on the back of a Poison Nova. Milan's going to try to make something happen, but the damage has already been done. Here comes mYi once again. We'll try to go for Creo, but he's going to get nuked down to the Brain Sap. That's not something Spell Shield protects you from. That's a mega kill for Funzy. This Venomancer is being played as such a huge core, and now he is still level 2 ultimate. He's so close to level 3 as well with the Blink Dagger. Huge fights being won by Denial just off of the raw strength of their heroes alone. Like, this is with no mech. This is pretty much just the Venomancer show. Miran is also sticking around doing a lot of damage. The Brain Sap cannot be underestimated either. But one Rax is down 24 minutes into the game. Not necessarily a death sentence at this point, as Anti-Mage can clear that relatively easily. Really, I think it's the fact that mYinsanity, I don't know, they even like got initiation perfectly. They just didn't have enough to follow the initiation. Like, Epicenter was used on the Mirana. That was mostly wasted, as she was very quickly back up to full HP after the Epicenter was used. If they had a little bit more, if they just had a little bit more in the tank, one more spell onto someone else, then they probably could have gotten away with that fight. But mYi wasn't able to actually do that much because he instantly got gripped. And then you're down an Anti-Mage who's, at this point, one of your largest sources of damage. Like, as much as you would hate to admit it if you're mYinsanity, you need this Anti-Mage to be hitting things in the fight. Otherwise, you're going to be falling short. And even if he is hitting things, he only has 1,000 HP, so he's not going to be hitting things for very long. And now the grip arrow combo. Here comes the Isle with presumably the Venomancer. I thought it was going to be the Brew, but Brew's in the area anyway. Hatala's here, but he's going to drop Mystic Flare on nobody. Don't really know why he joined that fight, but it wasn't a good idea. Anti-Mage and Skywrath both down, and mid lane is soon to be in full breach. The IO is going to back off, unfortunately for him. He already used the mech, so team's going to get the benefit of that. With a double damage rune on Paris, Denial, they could both look for the fights because they have the split and go for the tower at the same time. So mYi and Sanity, they need 40 seconds, and I don't think they have it. They have a Blink Dagger on Sand King, potentially is going to be a very devastating skill, but I don't really know if that's going to be enough just because it's only level 1 Epicenter, and at this point, level 1 Epicenter is rather underwhelming. Grazine looking to potentially jump in, but they're steadily losing their base. The Venomancer positioning, look at that. It's beautiful. He's so far away. Now he's going to close in because he knows that mYi and Sanity have pretty much given this one up. Grazine potentially looking for an angle in. Blink into Hoofstomp, going to land onto a couple. Double Edge is not going to be there because he gets slept. And now the Rock is going to wake him up instantly to the poison damage. Grazine going to take a truckload of damage. He will be going down as Lizard does jump in without an Epicenter, however. Coil's going to land on 2, but the Puck is going to trade his life for that. Definitely not worth it. Funzy's still alive. Has already used his ultimate. In mYi and Sanity, they have now their 2 dead heroes back up alive in the Skywrath Mage, Anti-Mage. But what can they do? Their base is in full breach. 2 Rax is down at this stage, as Sand King does get killed by a neutral creep. I guess that happened. Denial, they're not even going to go for the last set of Raxes. They're just going to end the game right here, right now. They don't have the split. They don't have the grip for another 5, but they will have that by the time they need it. Venomancer is potentially going to be in a little trouble. He's going to get hit with the full-on Mystic Flare. It's not going to be enough to kill him off because of the Aghanim Scepter, and now the sustain being given by the IO. This has got to be a good game. I don't think the Anti-Mage has enough. Anti-Mage is not even in his base. He's going to make sure he doesn't abandon by pushing out the top lane, but this has got to be it. mYi and Sanity, they put up a hell of a good fight, but in the end, Denial, their Brewmaster play was fantastic. Funzy doing so much damage just by pressing that ultimate button. And a farmed Anti-Mage is dangerous. This Anti-Mage was not farmed enough. That's going to be the Dire's Ancient exploding, and that is going to be the end of this best of 3 from the Yard Red Festival. We do have another game coming a little bit later on, but we're going to probably turn off the stream as that's not going to happen for like another 2 hours or something like that, and I don't really want to have the stream on for that long. So that should be it, guys. It's going to be Denial moving on to face Power Rangers in the 3rd round, and mYi and Sandy are going to drop to face no one yet. They don't know who their opponents are going to be, I don't think. At least what I'm looking at is not updated. So that's going to be it, guys. If you enjoyed the cast, then please be sure to hit that follow button here on HeflaTV 1. I think all the other HeflaTV channels are also up right now, so be sure to check them out. They're all casting solo. A little bit unfortunate, but what are you going to do? I'm Mike Loris. I've been your caster for today. I'll be back in a little bit for the next game from another Yard Festival. It's going to be... who it's going to be? Moscow 5 versus Ant V, and that's going to be an elimination match, so it should be a good one. Oh, it's only best of 1, though, so it's a little bit awkward. Regardless, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys shortly. GG.